Hi everyone, so today we have a election prediction for Barack Obama versus Donald Trump. I've tried to change the name so I can inspect it, but it didn't really work, so yeah, we'll just do it like this. So Barack Obama versus Donald Trump. So let's start off with the by the way, this is in 2020, and I know that Barack Obama cannot run in 2020, so just bear that in mind. This is just what if he could and he did decide to run. So let's start off with all the safe states. Hawaii, safe state. Minnesota you could say, yeah, okay. But now let's go through all the safe Republican states. So Nebraska, everything except that one congressional district. But pretty much up and down the map, it's pretty, Georgia is a toss-up. Indiana, yeah, that's not really a toss-up, but you could say, with the Mike Pence factor, I'm giving that to Trump. But we still have a few Democratic states to get to. Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, all these states up in the Northeast, New York, safe blue. One electoral vote from Maine, actually all of Maine except one electoral vote would be a battleground. My reasoning behind that is because Obama actually won that in his 2008 by over 10 points, so that would be a bit of a toss-up. But this is essentially the map. Virginia, that would be pretty much likely blue. New Hampshire, same thing, likely blue. And across the Rust Belt, I'm giving this to Barack Obama because, especially with the Joe Biden VP appeal, I think that he can appeal to Rust Belt voters. Trump definitely has a much better Rust Belt appeal, but we also need to consider that Trump's approval rating in these places is dropping every single day, especially in a state like Michigan. Yeah, you could say Wisconsin would be a bit of a toss-up, but in the end, I think it would actually end up going to Barack Obama. My reasoning behind the Rust Belt is, again, Trump's low approval rating, special election success, etc. So we have a number of states, battleground states, we must fill in. That California is not a battleground, my bad. Alaska is safe GOP. Yeah, New Mexico, you could say that's safe blue. So right now, if the Rust Belt goes blue, Minnesota goes blue. So right now, Barack Obama only needs 7 electoral votes to Donald Trump's 163. He needs 107, and Obama needs 7. So kind of favored in his column. So now let's go through. I hate to break it to you, but Colorado, increasing demographics that favor the Democrats. Young people, African American people, Latino people especially, they all vote Democratic by quite a considerable margin, and they are all moving into Colorado. So, Colorado is much more favored to become a Democratic state now. Going over to Nevada, pretty much Barack Obama territory. With Latinos coming out, that would be pretty easy for him. But going over to Maine and Nebraska, this is pretty hard call, but I'm calling, this is 2016, I'm actually going to call the Maine second for Trump, and my reasoning behind that is that Maine second is very much swayable voters. Went to +10 for Obama in 2008, to +3 for Obama in 2012, to +10 for Trump in 2016. It's kind of one of those places where they try someone and then they don't like it and then they go to the opposing party. So I think that in 2016, the GOP could carry both Maine second and Nebraska second. but we have a number of states that we are yet to fill in. Taking into party fatigue into the factor, these three trio of states I'm calling for Trump. Now, my reasoning behind Arizona is that the Democrats in future elections, definitely Arizona, definitely a blue state, but Iowa is becoming much more conservative, and Ohio is A, becoming much more conservative, and B, with Trump's Rust Belt appeal, even though it's not very strong, I mean, it is strong, but some of it will be cancelled out by Joe Biden's Rust Belt appeal, but overall he has a bit of a Rust Belt appeal, so I do think that Trump would carry Ohio, but we have a number of states that we are yet to fill in. I'm calling Georgia and North Carolina for Trump because I do think that he can bring up the conservative base in these areas. Also, both these states went to Mitt Romney, so with party fatigue factored in, you could say that those would go to the GOP. Going down to Florida, this is the final state, and party fatigue factored. Even though Trump's approval rating is low, yeah, you could say that would be still a battleground. That's a hard-fought battleground there, but I'm actually going to call it for Trump. So, final electoral map, Obama narrowly gets re-elected with 278 electoral votes to the GOP's 260. So, if this were to be 2016 and then Barack Obama was running for a fourth term, you could definitely see things change. Colorado would go red. Nevada would go red. Wisconsin would go red. Pennsylvania would go red. Maine would go red. New Hampshire, yeah, that's pretty much a battleground with party fatigue of, with party fatigue factored in New Hampshire, and all that stuff, not necessarily going to be good for the Democrats. So for the sake of the argument, I'll give it to him. So if he were to run for a fourth term, which is probably not going to happen, you could see many things change. For a fourth term, Michigan would become competitive, New Hampshire would become competitive, Maine second would become competitive, Minnesota, very competitive. So, but I'm calling Minnesota for the Democrats. Michigan, that's for the Democrats, but New Hampshire will go for the GOP as well as all of Maine. So let's go back to what it was originally because that was a 2016 election prediction. So this is where we were. So Obama narrowly gets re-elected for a third term, 278 for Obama, 260 for Trump. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next video.